Welcome everybody to another episode of Video iWoofs with our hosts, Dr. Ian Dunbar, Kelly Dunbar,
Hello.
and me, Jamie Dunbar. What are we talking about this time, Kelly?
Okay, this time we're going to talk a little bit about pack leadership, leading versus following, and what that means to dogs, if anything.
In what context?
In training, right? What do you mean?
Oh, okay, yeah.
In managing, living with, and training dogs.
Yeah.
What context would we be talking about?
Packing?
Well,
for
just,
a trip?
you know, in terms of social structure, I mean, yeah, I think if you bring a dog into your home, he needs a leader, and I would vote for a human being the leader because I think a lot of the time they know best. However, what does it mean by being a leader? It doesn't mean someone who's going to bully the dog and ruin his life. It's going to be someone who, on occasion, says to the dog, no, I want you on your bed. I don't want you getting up on the table when we eat. I don't want you bursting through the door. Or, you know, so it's basically we come up with some house rules, and the leader, or educator, I actually prefer the term, teaches the rules to the dog and makes sure that, needs be, the dog adheres to them. However, and I think that's good, that, you know, humans must realize they are in charge. The dog's quality of life and the dog's safety depends on them. But that's not a training method or technique. It's just a way of living with a dog. Yeah, of course you're in charge.
I don't think there'd be many people out there who would say that, you know, I want my dog to be the leader and to make the decisions about my life or our lives.
Or his
together.
life.
Well, maybe that's where the big misconception comes from. I mean, there is a difference between people who micromanage their dogs and people who let their dogs have some freedom of choice in their activities and what they do. And the misconception maybe is that the dog is somehow the leader when you don't. So if you don't believe in pack theory or leadership theory or whatever it may be, then you're letting the dog make his own decisions, which is obviously ridiculous. I mean, you must still control things as the human, but that doesn't mean you have to.
No, but it's this whole calling it like pack theory. I mean, there is no theory about packs. It's like wolves lives in packs. A lot of dogs live in large groups. When they live with us, we live in a multi-species group of a bunch of humans, a couple of dogs, and a cat.
Cats.
And
two cats.
Kitty cat. No, I'm not talking about us.
No.
I'm talking about the
Maybe a
hypothetical
leopard gecko.
family. Yeah, leopard gecko, you know, guinea pig, or what have you. But the point is, in any social group, irrelevant of the quality that you pick, whether it's height, weight, or leadership, there's always going to be a range, and one person will be at the top. I think with animals, we should be at the top because we're the ones that are meant to have the smart brains and can make decisions concerning the dog's quality of life, welfare, and safety. But that's not a theory. It's just an obvious way you live with animals, and it has nothing to do with training. Training is training. So if Dune barks now, I'll say Dune shush. Why? Because I taught him what shush means as I taught him what woof means. If he jumps in your lap now, you'll say Dune off. The whole notion of pack this, pack that, dominant this, dominance that, doesn't even come into it. The question is, what do you want your dog to do? Can you ask him to do things, and is your dog happy with doing it?
Well,
and that, to me, is what training is.
What is pack leadership?
I
And
guess
pack
that's the
theory?
question.
That is the question. I mean,
Yes.
because I think actually these two, there's not really much of a difference here, other than what maybe people are calling it or how they're subscribing to it. Because I guess when I think of leadership theory or pack theory, I think these are people that say that they must eat before their dog eats, that must go through the doorway before their dog goes through the door, that you would never let a dog up on a couch on a bed, that these are the places where the leader lives, at the higher levels and the more comfortable places. So that is what this is about. And people who don't subscribe to pack theory might say, I do let my dogs on the couch or sleep on the bed, or it doesn't matter.
Control when they...
Well, the point
Exactly.
is, this person is not a leader. They are a sheep. If you can read something as stupid as that, like don't let your dogs eat first, and say, oh right, I won't let my dogs eat first, I belong to the religion of humans eating before dogs, and the religion of humans on human furniture anyway, you are a sheep, you are not a leader. A leader is someone who says,
Well, you're
right,
following what someone's told
yeah,
you.
you're following blindly as a disciple what this guru who wrote a book said.
Not necessarily.
No, get to my point. I think the important thing is, if you are a leader, you look at your dog as an individual and say, what rules do I want to have for that dog in my house? and this will be different in every household around the world, that we allow our dogs on the furniture and on the beds. We have strict rules about it. In many houses, people wouldn't want that. It doesn't upset us. They don't get on the beds unless we say so. We have dog covers on the beds, and they get off the bed when we ask them to, and they even move over if they're taking up too much room. So the point is, a leader should make up the rules, and these rules are unique to that person and the dog, and then the leader's job is to educate the dog so he knows what the rules are. So, you know, what I hate is people who have a rule, you know, and pardon?
Nothing.
What?
Micromanaging you now.
Yeah, okay, what did I not do? What was I doing wrong this time?
Nothing.
Not looking at the camera, sorry.
But you can't just look at the camera, you're talking to us, so that's weird.
Yeah,
So never mind.
well, I got to be talking to you. I mean, I can't see them, you know. Hi. What was I saying?
Teaching them the rules, so that's the part that most people miss out on. Whatever your rules are, you must teach them to the dog.
Yes, because... Thank you. At least someone was listening, so I wasn't. I was just talking. Yeah, talking and listening to very different things. But the rules are important, and so many people have rules, but they don't teach them to the dog. All they then do is say, oh, he's misbehaving.
Or punish him for doing
and I believe in dominance theory, so I'm going to squish him.
Yeah.
No, make up your rules, teach them to the dog, and in a very nice way, without raising your voice or losing your temper, simply insist the dog sticks to them.
But Jamie made a very good point. It's just about, can you control the dog? I mean, can you control the interaction?
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that it's silly to listen to what other people tell you are the rules that you need to have for your dog. You should decide what rules you want your dog to follow and then communicate those rules to your dog and enforce them. I do think, though, that it's going a little far to say that people who subscribe to this dominance and pack stuff are just sheep following blindly. In that, I think that a lot of things about dog training don't make sense. People can't figure them out just sitting back and thinking commonsensically from their armchair about how it's going to work. And a lot of these things, these misconceptions that are so popular now, are popular because they resonate with what people kind of believe. And a lot of people, when they think about this, is like, oh, that makes sense. If I walk through doors before the dog, then it will respect me. And to people thinking about it, it makes sense on a certain level. And it's not that they aren't like questioning whether or not that's true and they're just following blindly. It makes sense to people.
It's what resonates with that person, or maybe the way they were raised, or what they believe in, or.
And what I think it is interesting.
It's doing the thinking for people. It's kind of like the thing when we house train dogs, and I always say, when your dog pees or poops, say good dog and give 3 liver treats. If I say praise your dog and give him a treat, people don't do it. But if I say give 3 treats, everyone does it and counts out the treats like it's some magic.
Well,
and I think
like
people do like clear instructions where they don't have to think, and the solution is given to them.
Similarly, people like being told, you know, okay, you have to go through doors before your dog. Your dog cannot be on a couch, because it's a simple rule that you've been told and it's easy to follow. And you don't have to, you know, take the time and energy to think about what's important for you and your life with your dog.
But it's not going to, and frankly, you know, having door boundary rules is important for safety, but it's not going to help you with aggression problems or leash walking problems. It doesn't train your dog.
House soiling or chewing or excessive barking.
I do think people should take, you know, I mean, there are safety precautions and things you should do for the safety of your dog. I think having a dog that doesn't bound out the doorway or knock people over to get in the door is essential, but there's lots of ways to do that. And as for eating first, I don't know. I always like to feed my dogs first and get it over with, and wash myself up and get that over with, and then have them go lie in their bed so I can relax and have a relaxing dinner, knowing it's over, rather than lording over them.
So you can call a restaurant and make reservations, is what you really mean. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to feed them first.
So I think what we're saying here there is rules are important. Lots of rules are important. Lots of little rules, but individual owners can make up their own rules, and then they should teach them to the dog.
And then a dog that doesn't know the rules isn't being dominant or trying to be the leader if they don't follow the rules. Or even if they do know the rules, which is very dicey to say in the first place, you know, perhaps they just, in that moment, were overexcited or had competing.
Well, I think the human analogy is a pretty good one here, that, you know, we all understand the rules. Doesn't mean to say we always keep to them, does it? Whether it's traffic rules or social rules.
Is that you being dominant over the police department then?
It's just, no, absolutely not. It's
Showing
being
your dominance.
stupid or being forgetful, or it's like stopping at a green light.
Being eager, excited.
We make mistakes.
Lazy.
Hello. So yeah, I don't think there's such a difference of understanding here that this even needs to be an argument. Yeah, dogs need leaders, cool, but that's not going to house train them. Not going to teach them to shush, and it's not going to teach them to keep off the furniture if that's going to be your individual rule.
Mm-hmm.
We're all agreed.
Yeah, humans should be leaders, but they should communicate clearly.
And in a human way, because we're not dogs, and dogs aren't wolves. There we go.
Well, thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Till next
Bye.
time.